Welcome to the Cargo Tank Coatings in Service Issues webinar number 2. Cargo tank coating failures are certainly on the rise. New cargo technologies coming through, but ultimately the application and the operational understanding of these are still being developed. From the owner and operator perspective, ultimately they're looking for efficiency in terms of all vessel areas. So they want the cleaning time be quicker and not have to spend significant periods of time cleaning between cargoes as well. In terms of tank cleaning, you certainly see there's better analytical techniques available to look for contamination. The specifications in terms of cargoes are getting tighter. Tank cleaning is a science, but some options are either being removed or being made more restrictive. So in terms of the technology options, if we go back to the 1940s, zinc silicates were an option. In the 1950s, pure epoxy systems came out. Phenolics came out in around about the 1960s. Low absorption coatings were brought out around about the 2000s. The only alternatives really is stainless steel. It's great as in it doesn't absorb or retain cargoes, but it's extremely expensive. Selecting the cargo tank coating technology, it really depends on what you're doing. It's your vessel trade, what cargoes you want to carry, how long we want to carry those cargoes, and what would be the cleaning requirements between cargoes. You can move up that technology ladder as I talked, from the zinc silicates to epoxies to phenolics to low absorptions. Generally, you will increase performance, but you're also going to increase the cost. The application difficulty will increase. In theory, the expected lifetime, assuming you correctly apply your products, you probably expect a lifetime of around about 20 years. If you're carrying chemicals only, you're probably looking at 10 years. If you're in between and you're doing petroleum products and chemicals, the lifetime's probably around about 15 years. But obviously in Safina, we do independent expert advice on all coating on all vessel areas, but it's quite interesting that around about a third of our work is to do with concerns on tank coating issues. Cargo tanks at 30%, so that's a significant number of failures that we see. Now, in terms of the cargo tank failure investigations that we've been carrying out, you can see the steady increase 2014, peaking around about 2020, but continuing over the years to be somewhere between 10 to 15. In terms of all of the failures that we've looked at, around about 41% of those failures have found contamination under the paint flakes and or poor surface preparations. Either grit and contamination or poor surface prep in terms of power tooling going on in over 40% of the failure investigations that we've looked at. In terms of the investigations into these failures, when we look, the documentation generally shows the cargoes are mostly being carried according to the cargo resistance guide. A number of red flags there that's worth checking if you're an owner or an insurer for that matter about the risks that you may encounter. Surface preparation, coating application and curing is critical to get in service performance. You need to get it right when you're applying the product. The cargo compatibility and the cargo resistance guide, are you following that correctly? Potential for cargo contamination due to absorption and desorption and how long that desorption may take. Over cleaning between cargoes can cause significant problems. Excessive heating of cargoes. And the latest generation of tank coatings that have a lot of internal stress in there because they are highly cross-linked structures. And then in terms of coating maintenance, we see variable levels of carried out by the crew. In terms of these risks, if you get in early, you can influence these risks. But ultimately, when you look in insurance and P&I coverage may come in, typically the products that are going to be used have been selected. The coating strategy is already being decided on. In terms of P&I coverage, the physical process of the coating has already been completed. And ultimately, when you're getting that far down the line of the chain, the ability to influence how that product's going to perform in service is almost non-existent. Cargo tank cleaning and the effect on coatings, but the QC test that's generally used, where do you carry it out? When do you carry it out? The surface of the coating might be clean, but the bulk of the coating may still contain cargo. So you might get a pass, but then ultimately further down the line, that bulk comes out of the bulk coating and you could potentially end up with cargo contamination, even though you passed the methanol wall wash test. Coating project management, getting this right is something that if you're an insurer or you're providing P&I coverage, it's something you should be keen to make sure this part goes well. A number of the cargo tank coating failures were due to poor surface prep or poor application as either probably the primary or also as a contributory factor. Having an experienced project manager there, it's really important to ensure the selected coating that we've picked is correctly applied and in accordance with the paint maker's application guidelines. Education across everybody that's involved. Charterers and vessel management need to understand in terms of what coatings are, what state they're actually in, what can they actually carry. And again, the insurance need to understand this as well. Have a look at what you actually want from the coating. So understand the performance requirements, what cargoes are you wanting to carry, what application constraints do you have, and what application constraints does a particular product carry, and what operation conditions are you going to be working under.